Good afternoon. Welcome to the tea table. I am so happy you've joined me today. And I want to encourage you that if you haven't gotten your tea yet, you can pause and get your tea and then come and join us, and we'll be right here waiting for you. Well, it's a special day. It's a special month. It's September, my favorite month of the year. It is so beautiful here. We usually have a long Indian summer, crisp mornings, sun afternoons, high sun, bright sun afternoon. It seems like the lighting becomes ethereal, and then gorgeous sunsets, and now occasionally we get a gray day thrown in. Today is a little cloudy. Yesterday was spectacular. And I think everyone loves September. It's a new beginning. And it's back to school. And I don't care how young you are or how old you are. It's back to school. It's time to pick up our books and study, get a good pencil, good pen, new tablets, get a journal, and time to put the summer away, almost. We can still leave ours out for another month, but we're gradually moving from summer to fall, and that's why I wore this shawl today. It reminds me of autumn leaves. And do you know, I have been thinking about all of you so much, and I was thinking about a leather satchel bag I had when I was young. I have just always loved vintage. When I was in college, I went to school in Seattle, actually Kirkland, right near Lake Washington. My dorm room had a view of the lake and the Olympic Mountains. And we would walk down to Kirkland, which was on the lake, and there was a lovely shop called Saints Alive, the Episcopal thrift shop. Oh my, we could get deals like you've never seen. And I loved vintage leather, and I found this bag, and I still have it. It's really old. And it actually, I've never seen a bag do this, but it tore. And inside this leather bag are all of my papers from my first couple of years of college. They're all here. And I look at my penmanship then, it was so perfect. You know, life moves on and we have to move a little faster. But many of my papers are handwritten. We did not have computers. There were definitely typewriters and electric typewriters, but I didn't always have access, and so I would actually write out by hand a lot of my papers. And then by my third year of college, I was definitely using an electric typewriter, and that was fun. But really hard to believe that even computers were coming in just as my kids were in high school and junior high, and my husband would help them all on their papers and learning the computer. Well, you know, it doesn't matter if it's a long time ago or now. September has a glory to it that is so inspiring. So many poems have been written. So many songs have been written. And I thought I'm going to bring on my tea cart or tea tray for you today. And this is my Queen Elizabeth tray. You won't be able to really see it because there it is, but the actual writing on it is the insignia of Queen Elizabeth. But I chose it because I'm thinking of C.S. Lewis, the great Oxford professor, writer, and this is what my daughter-in-law sent me as a gift. This is his tea cozy, and this is what it says. You can never get a cup of tea large enough or a book long enough to suit me. Isn't that interesting? He needed his tea to be inspired, to be refreshed, and of course, tea coming from England. And I found this little, now in those days, he was teaching in the 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe up to the 50s a little bit. He would have had cups. Now this is a cup of the queen that's on the throne now, her mother and father, Elizabeth and George. And they were beloved, very beloved king and queen. They were the king and queen during World War II when the bombs were falling in London. And they guided the nation through with Winston Churchill and survived. You know, the palace was actually, Buckingham Palace was bombed while they were in it. But they refused to leave. They said no. The queen said, if the king doesn't leave, I'm not leaving. And the king won't leave. And so they all stayed, and they won the hearts of the British people because they stayed and were with their people through the suffering of that war and gave them morale and inspiration to keep moving forward. Now, I was thinking, okay, a pot. C.S. Lewis, he wants a big pot, right? Okay, let's take this off. And the pot I have today, oh my goodness, it's the biggest pot I own. And I talked to you before about the Brown Betty. For new people on the Tea Talk, this is the Brown Betty. This is the standard pot of England. Everyone has a Brown Betty. I am sure C.S. Lewis had a Brown Betty. This is like a 6 to 8 to 10 cup pot. It is very large, and I'm going to pour out, let's see, in my cup. I'll let you see the royals while I pour. And I chose everything English for him. I thought this is a little mug that I'm going to let my little tea children use today. Isn't that darling? It's got the Union Jack on it. And so I have so many tea kids now, under 12. This is for you. Okay. And then this is a darling little, really old vintage creamer from England that I'm sure he had. I'm sure he had his favorite cup, his favorite pot. And then the custom was, and that's why I'm talking about this for back to school, he was a professor of classics at Oxford. And the method of study was you would meet with your professor several hours a week, and you would sit in their office and have tea. And then you would discuss your project and, you know, the Greek and the Latin, and probably even the Roman, but I know he specialized in the Greek classics. He was a brilliant man and a kind man. And C.S. Lewis is beloved by millions of people. And his most famous book that people are familiar with is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And, you know, C.S. Lewis had a real spiritual experience. He was actually agnostic. He had lost his mother when he was very young, and I think he and his brother grew up rather sad and a little lonely, and he found refuge in his books. But when he began to teach and study history, he realized, yes, there is a God. He is there. And this God is a big God. And he loves me. And C.S. Lewis opened his heart. And he became an incredible Christian. the most loving Christian. He wrote a fabulous book called Mere Christianity. And it is so spellbinding, you can't put it down. Every page is just filled with explanation and truth. If you have questions about, why is there suffering in the world? Why is not everything perfect? He has good, solid, biblical answers. And many, many, many people have found his book to be of great value to them. So I highly recommend it. Now, I guess I need to take a little taste, right? Savor the tea. My husband and I had a wonderful experience last night. We often walk Capitol Lake, which is a beautiful lake that sits between our capital. Our capital sits up on a hill, and the Temple of Justice, and overlooks this lake. And Capitol Lake is a walking lake, and it's been beautifully developed for walking. And then right across the street, it flows into the Puget Sound, and then there's walkways there. But Capitol Lake is our favorite place to walk. And we were walking, and it was sunset, and I saw the moon quietly coming above as just a sliver moon. And we ran into this darling couple. And the reason I met them is because she was carrying a bag with a red cross, like a doctor's bag, but canvas, like something you would carry into the forest, or if you were on a, perhaps, to a foreign country to help people. And I said, oh, that's an interesting bag. And she said, yes, I'm a doctor. She's very young. And she is a naturopathic doctor that studied at Bastyr College, which is, she said, located, I've heard of it for years, I've never been there, located on Lake Washington. And she said it is the most beautiful campus you have ever seen. She said the botanical gardens are phenomenal. I want to go. And then her friend, Isaac, was with her, and he's a graphic artist. Well, she is from New York, from Long Island. He is from Maine, the far corner state, and he grew up on the ocean in Maine. And they are here on a sailboat. They are living on a sailboat, and they're going all over the Puget Sound. And they said, we love Washington State. It is so beautiful. They love the trees and the mountains. And she told me that her family had a summer house on Fire Island, which is a little island off Long Island where there's no cars allowed. It's all bicycles and walking. Isn't that fascinating? And they were so nice, and we had such a lovely conversation. And as we were talking, the sun went all the way down, and the moon began to just sparkle and glow, this sliver moon. Oh, breathtaking. Nature is such a gift from God to us, to reflect Him to us, to show His beauty. And for the little treat today, now I was really thinking of my kids, because I'm calling them my T kids, the 12 and under kids. I've been getting so many calls and wondering when the next one was coming. So I thought these are the perfect little back to school cookies. They are letters. Have you ever had these? They're little cinnamon cookies with their letters and numbers. You can get them at Trader Joe's. They're a perfect snack if you want to pack your child's lunch, or if you're homeschooling, when they have a little break, reward them with some alphabet cookies. And if they're learning to read, let them identify the letter and let them identify the number. whoever thought of this is just so creative, and I love it. And back to school for all of us is so important to remember our years that we had in our formal schooling, and then we continue to go to school, whether it's a Bible study or seminary class or extended education, or there's a lot of classes people take online. Really, it's tremendous what the opportunity is now. And though COVID has been a tragedy for so many, out of it, we have to try to find the lemonade in the lemon. And out of it has come these opportunities of Zoom and connecting and being able to communicate in ways that never were possible or even thought of. Now, this is a darling. This is also for C.S. Lewis I brought. It's a little, if you have a tea bag and you take it out of your cup, this is to hold the tea bag. Isn't that sweet? Now, I use either bulk tea or generally tea bags that don't have a string. But if you have one, it's nice to have this with you. Now, I brought for my flowers, I'm calling these the last rose of summer. And this is my candy cane rose. Aren't they just spectacular? Who could make that but God? They're just so beautiful. And they have a sweet, soft scent. Really sweet, really soft. Okay, now I wanted to also read something very special. This is an old book. I love old books. You can see this book has been used. I had this book my whole life. My name is in this book, and it's pretty phenomenal because I have written my own name also. And my name, this is from when I was probably 4 years old. And this book contains my favorite story in the whole world. And my children's favorite story. And I've probably read this 1,000 times to them. And they all know it now by heart. But we're all children. And I think you will all enjoy this story. And I'm going to read it to you today for back to school. It's called Our Daily Bread. A little boy's mother gave him a brown roll for his breakfast. The little boy said, "Thank you, Mother. Thank you for my nice brown roll." See the little boy and his mother? Then the mother said, "Don't thank me. Thank the miller." The little boy ran to the miller. Now, for you who do not know, a miller is the man or the person who took the wheat from the branch and grinds it into flour. "Don't thank me," said the miller. "Don't thank me for," or he said, "Thank you, miller. Thank you for my nice brown roll." The miller said, "Don't thank me. Thank the farmer." Oh, and here's the farmer. There's the farmer. The little boy ran to the farmer. He said, "Thank you, farmer. Thank you for my nice brown roll." The farmer said, "Don't thank me. Thank the rain. I only planted the wheat." The little boy saw the clouds in the sky. He saw the raindrops falling. He said, "Thank you, rain. Thank you for my nice brown roll." But the rain said, "Don't thank me. Thank the sun. I only helped a little." Just then, the sun began to shine. Then the little boy said, "Thank you, sun. Thank you for my nice brown roll." The sun said, "Don't thank me. Thank God who made me." The little boy went back to the table. Then he said, "Thank you, God. Thank you for my nice brown roll. Isn't that sweet? What a clever story. It always just lifts up because we are all reminded everything good in our life has come ultimately from God, but also from other people contributing to our life, teachers that gave us so much through all the years, parents who loved us and taught us the right way. And I found one of my favorite pictures. I don't know how this is going to show. This is the old-fashioned picture. Whoa, it kind of has a light on it, sorry. But there it is. See the school, the old one-room schoolhouse. And that's where it all began in America. And it's said by many that the genius of America was the one-room schoolhouse, you know? Because the children were together, and they that were slower could be hearing and stepping ahead by hearing the older ones reciting, and they that were really bright and ready to move, they could move right up. There was no holding back. It's a wonderful, it was a great concept. And I was thinking about my school days. And I had a teacher. I thought, I've got to tell you about my one teacher in 8th grade, my Spanish teacher. She was so beautiful. She was so sweet, so kind, so smart. We learned so much from this teacher. And she had been an airline stewardess. So every day she wore a different pair of shoes. And we couldn't wait to get to class to see what she was wearing. She had so much color and creativity. It was so inspiring. Across the hall was Mr. Riemann. Blonde, blue-eyed, handsome. Neither of them were married. He was the science teacher. And we would see them in the hall talking. And oh, we were all so excited. And he was so nice. He helped us so much. A good teacher is worth $1 million in gold. To have someone that you feel really cares about you and understands and is merciful if you can't get it as fast as you need to get it. I have high regard for teachers and music teachers. Yes. They're the power of one. Power of one. They teach these children, and these children learn instruments, and they have it forever. Or a ballet instructor, they have it forever. An art instructor, they have it forever. A drama. I was in drama a lot in high school. And they took time and taught us. It was wonderful. I am so grateful for my teachers, all of them. And those that were difficult or not kind, we have to be thankful for them too. They were trying. And sometimes life needs contrast. You don't appreciate the good unless you have the other sometimes, right? Well, I did wear a special pin, and I don't know if you can see it. I'll try to hold it up. It's, I think I'll pull it off. It's a back to school pin. And see, it has the world, the books, a coffee cup. It has everything good for school. And I wore this pin for years. I used to do a children's choir when my children were in school. They were in private school. And then for a couple of years, we homeschooled. And I would always wear this pin. And it would just give me a special inspiration. I called that my back to school pin. And I thought, I'm going to share that with you. And then I wore a little lion today. And I have my lion earrings. I just love lions. They're wonderful. They're royal. And they represent strength. And we need strength, don't we? Yes. And I have one last little thing to show you. I thought I need to bring a purse, and I found in the fall, I feel I love all browns. I love tortoiseshell. I love Baltic amber. I think we all do. We love browns. And Cordavon is a color. This is a Cordavon purse. This is really old. This is made in Germany. It's real leather, of course. It's old. And it's the kind of purse that literally it will never wear out. It's one of those. It just has the quality. They probably used Italian leather. And then Germans are very good at making shoes and purses and leather goods. They're very, very perfectionist. And I don't know if you can fully see it, but it's a fun purse and it still smells like leather. I love the feeling in autumn to smell leather, a leather journal, a leather coin purse, just leather. I love that. And wearing amber, the colors of the leaves, and reds, and just dressing like what is around us. And the leaves are turning here really early this year. I've never seen such an early autumn. And I'm hoping on one of these tea talks before they fall to do it outside. I have a fabulous Japanese maple tree that turns bright red. I'm thinking it would be fun to have tea with you under that. It has not started turning yet. It goes quite late. Yes. Well, it has been so nice to be with you today. And you know, I want you to remember, be kind to someone. People are really hurting out there. A lot of times when people are rude or they do things that really bother you, it's actually a cry for help. If we can be mature, stand up straight and ignore the negative and just give back a good word. You know, in the Bible it says, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. So we want to have a soft answer, and we want to do what Romans 12, one of my favorite scriptures, is, do not be overcome with evil, overcome evil with good. And so be creative. Think of ways that you can bring a bright light to others. And my little tea children, I tell you, you're not too young. You can bake something. If you're being homeschooled, you could bake something and bring it to someone who needs cheer. Make a beautiful card, color a picture. And children that are in school, be kind to those other children. If they're difficult to be around, often it's because they come from a difficult background and they need love. They need a good smile and a good cheer and a good word. So let's be strong, and don't forget to share your cup of tea with someone else too. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been so special. Each one of you are so precious. You are so precious to God. Don't ever forget that. He calls you his jewels. Jewels. That's what it says in Malachi. Jew means praise. El means God. So a jewel praises God. Have a fabulous week, and I will look forward to seeing you next time.